And welcome to the R.W S, the Duluth, Red Wing, and Southern Railroad. We're building it right here, and so let's get going. So here we go. We're getting going on the railroad again. Since last week, what I got done was I got this whole thing soldered. You can see I'm not soldered over there. Let me move the camera. There we go. You can see I didn't get this long piece soldered, but I'll get that connected up. So the only solder I'll have to make is right here, which you can't see, and right here where they connect up, and right here. So this junction right here will have to be soldered, but everything else is hooked together. So what we're gonna do is I need to mark. And I tried different things. You can see right here, or you can't see that. I actually got white paint because I thought I was going to mark it with a pen, and then that started going everywhere. So I was trying to figure out an easier way to do it. And as you can see, when I was actually doing some of the scenery stuff, you can see some of the black right here, how it's lighter and darker. That was from brushing it on. So I thought, you know what I could do? It'll just blend in with the scenery. I can mark it with black, because if I mark it with black, even if it's too dark, which it doesn't appear that that's happening, even if it's too dark, the ballast that I put on the track will cover it up. So that should be no problem. What I showed you last week, I didn't even get that glued down yet, because I thought, well, I want to get these things soldered first things first. So when I pull, after I get these tracks marked and I pull all this off, then I'll do the rest of the gluing and sculpt the mold with the tracks out of the way. So that's kind of the game plan. I had figured out over here that I'm going to have to add an extra straight track to these, so I'll solder those together. And I did find this week, because I was thinking about, I got to build this trestle pretty soon. I can put pieces in like this temporarily, you know. I'll cut a bunch of foam to hold it up, so to get it together. But I did find some, because I'm going to have to build a truss here, here, and here, trusses here and here, a truss here. So I did find something that can do that, and let me show you. It's right here. Oh wait, hang on a minute. I gotta go and get it. I did a short on it, so if you watch my shorts, you'll see. You already know what it is, but let me go get it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So here's what I found, and these might be kind of big. I might have to go to smaller dowels, because when you look at the size, I found these. They only had one package there at the dollar store, so it was $4, which are pretty long. $4 for $1.25, so that's not too bad. But when you look at, like, you know, the size of a railroad tie, and you look at the size of these might be a little big. So these could be like maybe the main ones on the side to help support it, is what I'm kind of thinking. What I'm thinking about doing is buying one plastic trestle, if I can do that, and use that as a pattern for size. But the other thing I found, and even if I don't use them for the trusses, I'm going to get more of this. These are actually bamboo. I went in, actually Winco, the grocery store, and I was looking for, you know, those chopsticks that you break apart, but they had these which is pretty nice. When you can see the wood on there, and when you look at it, that's a pretty good piece of wood, you know, scale wise. So I got 2 packages of those. That's why it says cook good. There was only a couple bucks for these. So I got a bunch of that, which gives me a lot of wood for, even if I model it for housing or other structures. It's kind of I always keep trying to look for, if you buy it for a model or for the end scale, they're going to charge you more. They're going to say, oh, that's scale wood, so they're going to charge you more money. So I always kind of try to keep looking for alternatives of doing that. And I'll show you that later when I'm decorating. I found some dried spice like oregano and stuff, which actually becomes pretty good ground coverage, because end scale is small, as you can see compared to my finger, the size of these things. So yeah, so that was my latest find, and I hope I'm gonna keep checking the craft supply area in the dollar store for more stuff like this. If they had smaller dowels, I might buy those too. So I gotta keep my eyes open for those, because I think if you go to Hobby Lobby doesn't even, I couldn't find any dowels. They had scale wood, which was a lot more expensive than what I got here. So hopefully they get more in, and maybe some smaller ones, because smaller dowel would be better. But I know this truss, since it's carrying 2 tracks, would have to be pretty large when they built them. I don't know. Maybe I could get an end scale telephone pole too, because they should be like the size of telephone poles for these trusses here, and then for the smaller ones they should be a little smaller. So that might be another way to gauge it, is get an end scale telephone pole, compare it to these, and see how they match up, because these might be too big. But anyway, so that's just a little lesson in building and building the stuff. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my board to move. See, these are all hooked together. Move it to my board after I mark it. So I kind of got to get it lined up the way I'm going to glue the stuff down. So I got to line them up. Line them up like that. I'm figuring on this one I'm going to have to take a straight track and cut a small piece to make it connect, but that shouldn't be too bad. Then there's only one seam there and then one seam way over here. So I need to get it exactly, because this is where it's going to go down, exactly where it's going to lay. This one can come over a little bit. There's little divots I'm going to have to fill with rubber. So I might cut those off just because they're getting in the way. But so now what I want to do is mark it. If I can get those. What I want to do is mark it. I think I'm going to do that with that black paint. So, and I got this little brush. And what I'll do is I'll mark it like this with black paint. So that way I'll have a clean part. That way I can lay my road bed, kind of center it in that. Because when I start gluing this stuff down, I'm going to want to put thumbtacks in it to hold it down, to glue it, and to glue the road bed, so I can adjust the grade in case it drops down here. I can add a few extra pieces. So let me do that. Let me get it set up for the paint, and then I'll show you that, and then I will take this off and so we can start building. But I don't know if I'll take it off on the camera because I've got a board I've been putting it on. So let's start out with just at least trying to get that done. So let me get my paint set up, or maybe I'll take it off so you can see how it comes out. So let me take my paint off, the paint off of it. Let me get you. So I'll be right. All right, so I'm back. Actually had to cut this brush to make it a little smaller, but this is a little smaller brush. I got my black paint out, so I got that in there. I got this black paint, so I'm giving this a try for the first time. So if it doesn't work out, you'll see me quit. So we're gonna start right up here and see how it goes. So we'll just. And I might not do all of it because if this brush is too big, I need probably to find a smaller brush. But I'm going to try it right now and then lift that up and see how it looks. Maybe I'll try it down here. I'm thinking this brush is kind of wide, but yeah, that looks like it'll work, but it's too wide. So I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna see how dark that's gonna dry. If not, I can always add a little brown to it, you know, when I'm done, or even after I get the road bed laid down. So so there's that. Or I could water this down. So that'll be the next steps, and doing that. So I might not take the time. I might get these other things, that one soldered as well, and let me see if I can finish this up a little bit. I got more black paint. I didn't want to waste it. But I've been watching that guy from Minnesota, and I've been looking at road beds in the landscape, and I think I'm going kind of with the right colors. Because this kind of turns gray. So see? Yeah, that'll mark it pretty well. Let's keep going. There's my cutoff there. Let's mark this one. All I need to do is get that outline so I can get my road bed in. Because the road bed center is pretty easy. I'm just trying to use up this paint so I don't waste it. So, these might be a little wider. Probably when I do the rest of it, I'll have a narrower brush. Yeah, that'll work. That'll give me the exact spot of where that road bed's at. This brush is just a little bit too big, but you can get the concept of it. There we go. So that'll do it. You know, you can see right where that road bed's at, and the black will just add to the scenery. It's while it's wet, it seems to be darker, so now I can wash it on. I wanted to at least use the paint up that I had. Let me mark this here. So there we go. So I'll mark all of it, but hopefully with a smaller brush so I can get in here better. So yeah, so we'll get that done. So, and hopefully, if I get that done, then you've seen me lay this track down. I'll get the road bed glued down, and then we'll work on laying the track down after I have everything soldered. And then pretty much, and then I did decide over here, I don't know if you can see that, this one is kind of moving. I am going to put a screw in here to hold that down more. Same thing over here where this one's kind of bouncing up. But yeah, so that'll be the results of the clay train in progress. So, so I hope you enjoyed that. As you can see, we're making progress. It's starting to look like a train layout. When you look at my sheet, when you look at the sheet, you can see what we're doing there. So this part here, up here is the covering. So we're working right down in there. Okie dokie. So I hope you enjoyed that. Way to mark your track is just paint actually what you need to, because I can always add brown to it, and then it'll be a darker gray. It'll look more like this once it dries. But even I could touch it up once I get the road bed laid down, because the road bed is black too. So even if I hit that with a little brown, it'll blend into the scenery. But it's a quick and easy way to mark where that track is running. As you can see there, it gives me a good stencil of where that track's going to go lay. So I thought of that actually today. I was thinking other things. I tried this white paint pen, but then it wouldn't fit between the rails, and then it would dump too much paint on. In fact, over here I got paint actually on it because I couldn't get it in between. So that I bought that, and that was a fail. But then I thought when I was painting this stuff, it was watered down. But it was funny because when I started putting this back in position, I could see right where I had it by kind of that gray and the lighter brown. So there we have it. The clay train is coming together. Actually, it's a really hot day here today. I filmed the cigar box one, and I went back in, ate lunch, and cooled off. So I got to get out of here. I did change the lighting. I hope it's better for you. So with that, have a good weekend, and we will see you next week, same time, same bat station, and we'll talk to you later.